In this worksheet, we're going to put formulas in the yellow cells. And by the way, you'll find that I like to use yellow cells in these lessons because it's easier for me to say go to the top yellow cell than it is for me to say go to cell D2. Well, it's actually easier for you to find the top yellow cell than it is for you to find cell D2. So let's start in the top yellow cell, which happens to be, don't you know, D2. Okay, now what we're going to do here is just take 100 plus the 2. We'll start with an equal sign because all formulas have to begin with equals. And we're just going to use the mouse. We'll click on the 100 plus and then click on the 2. Of course, when you hit enter, the formula solves to 102. And then we're going to do the subtract now. Equals, click on the 100, minus the 2, enter. And now we'll multiply, equals this. And we're going to have to use the asterisk now to do the multiplication. Don't be tempted to use the X on the keyboard because that's not going to give you the right result. In order to do multiplication, you have to do asterisk. And then click on the 2. And then finally for division, we'll do equals this. And if you look at your keyboard, there's no divide sign on the keyboard. So we'll have to use the / instead. Yep, the / is the operator we need to do division. And then click on the 2 again. And there we go. Besides introducing you to the operators for subtract, multiply, and divide, there's another point to be seen here. And that is that back on sheet 1, we had a column of numbers whose sole purpose was to be totaled in cell B6. But here on sheet 2, we have a column of numbers where each cell contains a different formula. So the point is that just because you have things in a column doesn't mean that you have to put a total at the bottom. Every cell in the worksheet is capable of having its own formula. Let's head over to sheet 3. Here we have the same set of data, and we want to achieve the same outcome. We want to take all of these numbers and use 2 as the variable we're going to insert into the formula. Just like before, we're going to take 100 plus 2, 100 minus 2, 100 times 2, and 100 divided by 2. The only difference is that back on sheet 2, the 2's are all built right into the worksheet. But over here, we have a single 2 up here in cell E1. And all the formulas in the yellow cells are going to use that one single 2 to do their job. And the way you put the formula in is exactly the same as we did on the previous worksheet. So let's start out. Equals this plus that. And you just click on the 2. Hit enter. Equals this minus that. Again, you just click on the 2. Nothing to it. Hit enter. Equals this times that. Enter. And then equals this / divide that. Excellent. So why would we do something like this? Well, if all of these yellow cells depend on that one single 2 to do their job, if we change that value from a 2 to, say, a 10, watch what happens in the yellow cells. I know. Pretty cool, right? So you can change this value all day long, and every time you change the value, the yellow cells are going to update because we didn't hardwire that 2 into the formula. In other words, we didn't say over here B2 plus 2. We said B2 plus whatever happens to be in cell E1 at the time. Every time you change the value in E2, you're going to get a different result in the yellow cells. So now we're back to my favorite question. So what? Why do we care about any of this? Well, by way of an explanation, let me pull up another worksheet, and we'll demonstrate how powerful this really is. You won't find this workbook in your project files folder, so just watch this for a few minutes, and then we'll get right back to the other workbook. Here we have some salespeople with their sales for May, June, and July. In column F, we have the total for each of those 3 months. So this $12.50 is the total for Ben if you add these 3 numbers across. And what we want to do is take this sales figure, $12.50, and multiply it times the 15% bonus, and just put that value right here. So we'll just do equals this times that. Enter. And then just do this the whole way down the column. And every one of those formulas points to that 15% in cell I3. So let's say I wake up this morning and I'm feeling pretty generous. I'd like to give everybody a 20% bonus. All I have to do is go over and change that 15% to a 20, hit enter, and everybody gets more money. It works out that way because all of those yellow cells are looking at that one single cell. Okay, so I'm going back now to the First Formulas workbook. Let's go back to sheet 1. I'll delete this formula here. And now we're going to come down to A7, and I'd like you to just type in the word tax. Tab over, and now we're going to take this 568 and multiply it times 0.06. That's going to be our sales tax percentage. Now the 0.06 doesn't appear anywhere in this worksheet, so we're going to have to build it right into the formula. In this case, we're going to use the name of a cell and multiply it times a hardwired number, 0.06. It'll go like this, equals, we click on B6, times, and then we just type in 0.06. Hit tab to move to the next cell, let the formula solve, and there you go. We'll do it again for this one. Equals this times 0.06. Tab equals this times 0.06. Enter. Now, I'll bet you're wondering how you could get this to add up to do a grand total now. Well, let's try that. We'll type in GT, tab over, and now we're just going to take equals this, the total, plus the tax, and then tab over. Yeah, equals this plus that, tab, equals this plus that. Enter. So that's looking simply marvelous. And let me remind you that at no point did you really have to know anything about math in order to make this work. All you had to do was know how to get Excel to do the math for you. And that's exactly what Excel was designed for.